Hello all. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If you can't, let me see if I can get a little bit more volume going on here. Just wanted to check in with you guys, see how things are going out there. It's the end of the week. It is the end of the week, and we are doing end of the week recap, right? So just making sure that everything's running fine. I had been having a little technical difficulty, but I guess that's what happens when you're doing live, right? So if you're just joining, I'd like to welcome you all to Amir Shakur Speaks with your host, Amir King 7 Shakur. That's me. And listen, today is about commentary. Today is about interaction. Today is about just addressing some things that happened this week, and as we're getting prepared for the next week. So, you know how we do. Again, just welcome to the show, which brings you the best in urban, faith, and politics, all done from an inspirational perspective, right? All done from an inspirational perspective. So if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. And tonight's show is sponsored by the Chicago Urban Daily. I'm going to get started shortly. I just want to go ahead and address some things while I'm at it. So let's just take a minute and Want to say hello to all my friends out there at the Chicago Urban Daily. I also want to say hi to all of my peeps out in Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, and hopefully you guys are doing fine out there. Hey, just give me some feedback. Let me know how you're doing and what's going on, and just let me know you're alive. Sorry, I had to take a minute to just address a technical issue, and we're gonna get this party started, right? I also wanted to welcome all my friends in World Star Hip Hop. Everybody who's joining in from World Star Hip Hop, Chicago Urban Daily, Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee, the Chicago Social Justice Network, the Exposed Corruption Network, and a lot of social justice folks from around the country. So I just wanted to say hello to you guys, and hey, give me some feedback if you're out there. Let me know you're alive, and it's good talking to you, right? So as we are starting, I just wanted to start off by a couple of things. But before we begin, it is Black History Month, so I just wanted to start off with that. And today we're honoring visionaries of African American culture all throughout Black History Month, and today we're honoring a visionary, revolutionary leader. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about him. And the thing about Malcolm X is that today his home was bombed in New York City, and he and his family escaped injury, but the event preceded his assassination 1 week later. So, Malcolm X is most famous for being a charismatic Black nationalist leader and a prominent minister in the Nation of Islam, the NOI, and a powerful voice for Black empowerment. A lot of people saw Malcolm X as being the opposite of Dr. King. But we do also know that towards the end of his life, he changed his direction and it was more inclusive. He didn't contrast with Dr. King. He actually followed the approach of integration of racial segregation was his thing at first, but as the national spokesman for Islam, that's what they did. But at the end of his life, he evolved, and his views evolved after his pilgrimage to Mecca and the broader view of humanity through his assassination, even though 1965 cut short his transformation. So again, we're honoring Minister Malcolm X, and that's our Black History moment. And again, every show during February, we're going to be honoring Black history visionaries, business folks, political leaders, inventors, just visionaries from the African American community globally. All right. So if you want to say hi, get on the YouTube Amir Shakur broadcast channel and say hello. And today is February 13th, Friday the 13th, y'all. Hey, Friday the 13th, 2026. So we're gonna bring some major highlights. I wanted to talk a little bit about, just to address a couple of things. So going forward, every show we're going to be doing Ask Amir Anything, to where you can ask me anything, any question, any concern, anything you got coming to mind. If you want some dating advice, maybe I can give you that. That's. Let me bring that up again. Ask Amir anything. All right. I don't know why that doesn't want to stay up, but we're going to bring it up. Bring that back. I guess asking me anything is not a good idea for technology, right? Listen, guys, ask me anything, any question, any concern. Should be an interesting thing. So let's look forward to that. Want to say hi again to my peeps out there in the streamer sphere. We're starting this next week off with a bang. Got a lot going on, right? In the past, I want to talk a little bit about a subject that's near and dear to me. But before I do that, I want to start off with the motivation of the moment, which is a dream written down becomes a goal. a goal written down becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action makes your dreams reality. So remember that. That's not my Black history. That's my motivational moment of the show, and we're going to do that as well. Every show, motivation. I think that's important, right? Right. It's a third of my mission statement, motivating the masses, right? So don't be afraid to come on to the live stream. If you're on my YouTube channel, Amir Shakur broadcast channel, you can come in and you can join the conversation. Today we're starting off with some subjects that are near and dear to me. I'm just going to take a minute and I'll pull those up. I thought we had them, but time and circumstance sometimes with live is just, gotta go by the fly. So, and again, I'd like to welcome you guys. If you guys haven't joined the live stream, please join it. And I'm going to start off with some national news, and then we're going to go into some local pieces in the Chicagoland area. And then we're going to follow up with just some general information type things. Okay. Won't be a long show, but definitely will be an important show. So as I had promised you guys that we're going to be talking a little bit about our progress in Harvey, Illinois. And I want to pull up a little bit of information about that, an update about that. Maybe some people were waiting for that update. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I just want to pull up some video on that piece, and we'll get that going in a second. I did want to make an announcement. So yes. Please, whatever you do, guys, hit that like button, like and share. Thank you all. So I want to start off with a little bit about Harvey, Illinois. And, we never have enough things to do out there. It's always something going on out there. For those who have watched my show in the past, I've talked a little bit about Harvey in the past. And as some of you know, and those who don't know who are just joining my show, we've had a campaign against opposition and corrupt officials out in Harvey, Illinois. And that campaign is still ongoing to this day. The unfortunate thing that's happening is that the mayor of the city has passed away. And that happened roughly a week and a half ago. I want to share a little bit of news about that, and then we're gonna break that down and discuss it a little bit. So let me break that down so you guys can check that out. And I'm gonna pull up the news article, and that way we'll be on the same page. All right, guys. So let's go ahead. Hopefully you can hear me.
Still waiting on word on the cause.
WGN's Jewel Hillary has more on how Mayor Christopher Clark is being remembered.
Hi, good evening. Many people in and around Harvey only knew Clark as the mayor of a city trying to remain fiscally afloat. But today we had the chance to talk to several people who knew Clark outside of his leadership position. The American flag flapping at half-mast near a black and purple bunting outside of Harvey's City Hall. The symbols honoring the life of Harvey Mayor Christopher Clark. City officials announced his death Friday morning, holding back details on what led to his passing.
Well, it's a very sad time for Markham, Harvey, and the South Suburban area that Mayor Clark has passed away.
Reverend Dr. Dale Lawson Sr. presides over Christ Temple Baptist Church of Markham, Mayor Clark's childhood church that he still made a point to visit. Reverend Lawson and church administrator Metha Ross Lowry first met Mayor Clark years ago when he was a little boy.
He was very diligent and determined young man. And I think that's all the way back. It's the years I watched him mature. And he always wanted to do his best.
While the circumstances of his death haven't been shared, Reverend Lawson says many people were surprised when he didn't show up to a recent city council meeting.
And I knew it was kind of different from him not to be in attendance at this council meeting. He was very adamant about being in those meetings.
Mayor Clark served as Harvey's mayor since 2019 and was often in the spotlight because of the city's financial challenges. Last fall, WGN Investigates interviewed Mayor Clark about the city's tax woes. To recoup revenue, Clark shared he was testing a solution for businesses that own properties with late taxes or that lease space in properties with late taxes.
The purpose of the settlement agreement was to try to give those others that, were having, lean times, to give them opportunity to be able to right the ship.
Naturally, Mayor Clark had connections with other politicians, including Mayor Brandon Johnson and Johnson's political director, Christian Perry, who called Clark a friend. Today, Perry shared these text messages where Clark took the time to lift him up.
And he just, if you saw it, he just says, not only are you a blessing, but you're an intentional father. I see how you are with your son. You're gifted at what you do.
Back in Markham, Metha says one of the last times she spoke to the mayor was during the church's Family and Friends Day last summer.
He didn't talk a lot of politics because that's what he spent his life doing. So in this environment, the home church, he just needed a release and a time to just really be more Chris Clark than Mayor Clark.
The city of Harvey has scheduled a city council meeting on Monday evening to appoint an acting mayor. Reporting in Harvey, I'm Jewel Hillary, WGN News.
All right, so there it is, y'all. There it is. I just wanted to address a lot of things that are going on with the ongoing campaign here in Harvey. Christopher Clark, the now late mayor, was facing increased scrutiny and calls for his resignation as of the late 2025 up until the point of his untimely death due to mounting financial problems, mismanagement, allegations of corruption. His administration had been dealing with severe financial and fiscal issues and calls for state intervention, which my group, a group of activists on the ground, would led the community to demands for his resignation. The growing pressure as of 2025, starting when I came through, July of 2025, Mayor Clark was facing intense calls to resign from the community due to the ongoing issues, the financial instability, the previous involvement early in his political career. He was involved in various other scandals, I would say, police department issues. As of 2021, Clark announced changes to address the corruption in the police department, and that corruption is ongoing to this day. So I think that as we're going forward, it's important to distinguish that the current allegations against Mayor Clark from past federal charges from other officials really had never disappeared. He was still under scrutiny as to the point of his passing. And it's unfortunate that anybody loses their life, right? It's unfortunate that people lose their life, but we have to call it in for what it is. If we take a deeper dive into the corruption that's going on in Harvey, the majority you guys, I want you to look this up and do the research yourself. Who's a mayor or mayoral candidate? She's basically the future that I see of Harvey. She's young, she's aggressive, she seems to want to do the job, and she doesn't seem to have the level of scandal that a lot of the other folks have. And when it comes to police reform, she has been on the forefront of that. Clark initiated changes that were never seen with Harvey Police Department, including implementing body cameras and calling for the resignation of the police chief in 2021. But again, those changes happened because these people apparently wanted to do the right thing when it came to the community. And I'm not so sure about the platform of Mayor Clark. And despite his initial platform, his administration faced increased accusations. So I think if we are talking about the legacy of a Christopher Clark in Harvey, Illinois, I think that legacy has to show that through a lot of his own doing, it resulted in a furlough of like 70 employees and about 160 million, if I'm correct, in debt. And residents and activists call for his resignation, including, again, a group of activists that are closely associated with me. And, this is a culture for us that did not value transparency. Do you guys hear me? This culture did not value transparency, right? So we want to call it for what it is. Ethics issues, misconduct issues. Community members were raising concerns every day about the unlawful and unethical traffic stops, which we were talking about, which the Harvey police were basically reported as pulling over residents and forced for minor traffic infractions. And these folks were forced to pay $1,500 to $2,000 and above traffic tickets for minor traffic infractions. How gangster is that, right? That's pretty gangster. So we called it out early on last summer, and we've been calling it out. And there's a growing coalition on the ground of concerned citizens who we are really forging a class action lawsuit against the city of Harvey, which is coming. In the meantime, yes, true enough, Mayor Clark passed away unexpectedly on the 30th of January, but that was amidst the ongoing controversies, right? So the outcomes of the corruption of the investigation never really materialized. The outcome is it's going on as we speak. And as 2026, there's significant federal lawsuits that are pending against the city of Harvey and Mayor Clark. Including from business owners who allege that Clark's administration used concrete barricades to extort the businesses for thousands and thousands of dollars. And if you go through Harvey, you can see those barricades now. The police department personnel, including the chief Biding, and it might be Biddings or Bidings. I always get his name mixed up. But anyway, Cameron Bidings or Biddings is the current chief of police, and there's a lot of things going on with this particular police commander. Very much inexperienced, had never held a high-ranking position as in law enforcement, but he came from other law enforcement agencies. His record shows that he was terminated from an agency. We're still trying to FOIA that information to get why. The associate chief, Derek Charles, has had scandals himself out of other jurisdictions. And there has been an ongoing level of police weaponization against the citizens, including the Second World Alderman Colby Chapman. So if you're just joining us, I'm just breaking down our ongoing campaign in Harvey, Illinois, and I'm giving you the reasons why this campaign is not going to stop. We're not going to stop doing what we're doing in order to affect change out there. And not only are we not going to stop doing what we're doing, but I'm going to announce going into next week, I'm going to announce some more initiatives that we're doing on the ground to fight against the ongoing corruption. By the way, we are calling for a state financial audit from the Illinois Comptroller's Office to audit the city because of years of delinquent financial audits. A process that Clark claimed he had championed, but it never materialized, y'all. And we are also asking for federal monitoring. While Clark has frankly said he's worked with the federal authorities, and at one point I can remember when I first came down and I addressed the corruption in the meetings. Basically, he was giving out a lot of the high-level law enforcement investigative branch information. If you want to, saying that if you want to call him about me, feel free to. But we are still calling for a federal investigation into Clark's own alleged misuse of funds and property. We are calling for And this is well notated through news and everything else, and again, we will not let Mayor Clark's unexpected passing on January 30th. He's left many questions about the investigation. He's left these things in flux. So I want you guys, if you guys are looking at this video, share this information. What I'm also going to announce, just so you guys know, is I'm going to announce some initiatives that I'm going to need the community to help with. So if you're in Harvey, share the information and share it on. As of mid-February 2026, the Harvey City Council remains deadlocked in a split vote, failing to appoint an active mayor to oversee the city's response to the ongoing legal challenges. And I am so happy. In my opinion, we're going to go back into the corruption issue, but I am happy that Miss Colby Chapman did not want to fill that interim position, because at this point, the interim position is a cleanup position. And I think that the interim is going to have their hands full all the way through the term of the new mayor. So I think that should be reserved for two separate individuals. And if Harvey is going to have a future with a young, intelligent, bright mayor, maybe Miss Chapman, haven't seen anybody else that's more fit than her, then I'm going to suggest that she does not do the interim position. I'm going to say that she reserves her energy for the real fight ahead and the election and the battle. We don't know how that's going to come out, but again, she seems to be duly suited. What questions do you have? I think some of the questions as we've addressed the situation is, are there any federal indictments against Clark or anybody in the administration? Well, the mayor has faced significant legal and public pressure from us. I'm not going to say that in others. Up until the last moment that he breathed on the earth. Extortion allegations, 2024, they paid a multi-million-dollar lawsuit from the former police chief. We are still requesting, I want to be clear, we are still requesting a federal investigation, and we're calling for federal oversight and an FBI investigation into his administration's finances and his use of police political intimidation, right? A state forensic audit. And I can't speak highly enough that this mayor left scandal. He left a trail of tears that we don't see in any mayors in the country. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it very clearly. This mayor was one of the worst mayors in the United States of America. Quote me on that. And when you quote me on that, then what you can also do is you can guarantee what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is we are still going to ask for the federal oversight. But this is what I'm going to need the public to do. As of July 14th, there was a group of oppressors who basically committed an illegal act against me personally and some others. We're asking for any information on them. If anybody has any information outside of what we already know, what we're going to do is we're going to ask every law enforcement apparatus in the state of Illinois, all the way from the circuit court judges to the head of Chicago, head of the FBI, to start an investigation. And we want it duly notated. The Attorney General's office, the head of the FBI, the state's attorney's office. We do have some new information that's come out of that, but we're also asking for not just those folks who allegedly, we believe, were working with Mayor Clark as henchmen. They also went into businesses and tried to shake businesses down. We're asking for the mayor, to be investigated about that. We're asking for a chronological list of things which we have put together as an investigative document, and it's going to be notated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So what's going to happen is that we're going to do the investigation with private investigators ourselves. We're going to give these documents public numbers and an assignment number, and this is everything that we've seen, and we will ask for it in federal investigation. Not only will that give oversight, but it'll make federal investigators' jobs so much easier when and if they actually get down to an investigation. We'll have witnesses, we'll have the document numbers, and we'll have the incident report numbers. So who's going to be involved in this investigation? This is the good part. This will be the group of people who Mayor Clark had an association with, and we were told that they were receiving funds under the table. I can't justify that, but I mean, I think that it'll come out. We do know that they were carrying actions either on the request of Mayor Clark or basically for gain, including harassing business owners, including illegal and criminal activities. So we're going to continue to lead the Trump. We're going to lead the flag, I should say. Trump is a bad word. We're going to lead and resound the call for that investigation. What we need from the public to do is, if there's any incidents that you guys have of either the police leadership, any police officers on Harvey Police Force, any of the civic leadership, including the city attorney, which we have a current investigation on at the ARDP, which is the Illinois State Attorney's Referencing Committee. That's who licensed the attorneys in the state of Illinois. It's basically administered by the Illinois Supreme Court. So Patrick Walsh is the city attorney. He has a current, or was, I don't know if he's still there or not, but he has a current investigation. We're also forging an investigation with the chief of police, the associate chief of police, the detective, the head of the detective branch of Harvey. So we're looking at an in-depth investigation, and we want this investigation to go on. And again, we are sending that to every law enforcement apparatus in the state of Illinois. So we're talking about over 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 people, maybe 100 people. We're also including the media on that. So this will be a public action. We're also looking at things like the other issues. Say, for instance, a young lady named Melissa Crowley who had an incident. We want that incident notated because, again, we want to show a collaborative, ongoing campaign against the community. These folks working outside of public interest, and we'll show and prove it. And again, we will make these law enforcement officials' job easy, right? Number one. So that's a lot. I know I said a lot. But in the meantime, and you'll see that next week, in the meantime, we're also waging a public campaign, and it's a sign-in campaign. You'll see the petition to assist with the community in asking for these people to be brought to justice. And if you see it, please sign it. You see that as early as Sunday, and it'll start on an ongoing basis. And when you see it, sign it. This will include the investigations of everyone who I mentioned. I'm going to say it again: the police leadership, be the ops. And for those who don't know now, we are talking about provocateurs. We're talking about people who really were not actually living in the community. They, for whatever reason, wanted to get involved, whether it was for profit, whether it was for gain, personal gain, whatever their reason, which probably a combination of all. But they, in the meantime, they committed criminal acts. So we are looking at that. We're looking at the arrest of the arrest and harassment of Miss Chapman and her mother. We want a chronological. We don't want these things to go, because here's the thing: the actions were committed. So we are not going to stop until we get to our goal. And our goal is to get a clarification on federal charges, pending federal charges. And, unfortunately, again, the impact of Mayor Clark's death, I'm not sure if it's unexpected passing stopped some of the activity from going on. I'm sure it probably has. But, with the vacancy of leadership, we hope the next person will do the right thing that's in office, and we are asking them to do the right thing. And what we will do is we will be in lockstep with who's ever in office to make sure that they understand that accountability has to happen, and we need a new Harvey. The reason why, for those who don't even live in the state or in the area or in the region, and they're asking why this is important, because we can use this model against fighting public oppression, against fighting corrupt officials, against city officials who have schemes to extort businesses. We can use these as leverage to go and look in. If your community has the same type of leadership, we can use this as the model to move forward, and we've seen it before. So, ask me anything. If you have any questions, then I'll be more than happy to get into it with you. But the investigation goes on. We will not let Harvey. We won't end our campaign. I will say that a portion of the campaign has ended with the passing of Mayor Clark, to whereas I don't believe that a lot of the actions will go forward. Real estate deals, I think that those are gone now. Supposed allegedly ethical violations of real estate deals, which I don't know if even the city officials know what that is or what it's all about. But extortion of businesses, again, we're on it. We're going to stay engaged. We're not stopping, and we're moving forward. And you should too. You as the public should ask for accountability, because not only do we want to see change going forward, but folks who commit crimes have to be accountable for their actions in the past, and accountability is coming. On a personal level, I have a multi-million-dollar federal lawsuit that's getting filed, and I also have a 30,000 plus lawsuit, which the amount has just been requested to move up and added additional damages. So I believe we're looking at 70,000 on that lawsuit. And we're also looking at a class action against the city of Harvey. So we want change in Harvey, and the only way to do it is to hold these people accountable. We need whistleblowers to come. We need people who are ready to talk to federal officials, including the DOJ, and we are requesting that intervention. There will be an open letter that's going out next week to the public about everything that I'm talking to you about, as well as a petition and a campaign that will start to root out the corruption in Harvey. And we started that by saying we want to expose corruption in Harvey. So that is the campaign to root out corruption. It's exposing corruption in Harvey. And we're asking and we're hoping that leads to the termination of multiple high-level ranking, not just the police officials, but even some of the city council folks who have done things bad, who have done mischievous deeds, who have participated in public shaming, who have participated in campaigns of things that were wrong, and some of the many stories that we've heard. So again, if there's a federal issues, there are civil lawsuits that are coming up. Get with us. Amir Shakur Speaks. You can email me at amirshakurspeaks@gmail. You can send a email to directly to me. And I think that at this point, I think that there will be a change through attrition in that community. But we won't allow a narrative to go unchallenged until we know that there's a change. So, that public fight that we started in July of 2025, the significant corruption, it has to go forward. All right. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you guys, I really want your feedback. So let me know how you feel. And again, this is about changing a community which has been impoverished, which has been taken advantage of by many, and we want change. All right, that's what I'm gonna say about that. What do you guys have to say out there before I move forward? And if you're just joining me, hit that like button. We are going into one moment. We're going into an area of challenges like we have never seen on a federal level, and I want to address those momentarily. But before I do, again, if you're just joining the show, if you're just joining the live stream, please feel free to like and subscribe. There's a lot of information that I'm dispelling because it is the end of the week. But my thing is that I want you guys to do what Beth says. Let's continue to stand for Harvey. Beth, that's what I'm talking about. That's the spirit that we need. There are still businesses closed, and it's sad that the residents have to shop in other cities due to the closing of these businesses. Family Dollar is still closed. Yes, and for those who knew, we were on top of that, and we've led the public outcry to make sure that those stores stay open, and we're hoping that the new leadership will be on point with that. My thing is that we want to see change in Harvey, Illinois, and not going to stay on it. But I will say that look out for the developments coming this week. And, we are asking for the federal authorities, and there will be a multi-layer campaign to get involved, and we're going to help them. And we're going to public censor these people who have acted outside of public interest. So if anybody reviews their names, their information will be right there, and it'll smack them in the face. And then after that, we'll look at embargoes. We'll look at whatever we have to do in order to get things right. All right. And thank you for standing with us as well. So we appreciate you. All right. With that in mind, I'm going to go a little bit forward. All right. So if you guys have any questions and you want to join, please find the chat on Amir Shakur Speaks. The Amir Shakur broadcast channel is where I'll be at. And you guys can always join the channel, join the conversation, and there'll be a link to join us. If you have something good to say, come on through. If you have something bad to say, hey, listen. If you feel like you want to rise up against me, you want to debate against me, I'm all good. We could do that as well. As long as it's respectful. We don't have to agree. We could agree to disagree, but as long as it's respectful, I'll debate with anybody. I've done it in the past. I'm a trained debater. Okay, so we'll do it, right? Amir, thank you for your service and sacrifice for the city of Harvey. You were injured on July 14th, and your daughter as well. Yes, we were, but that's being handled in a federal lawsuit. That's being handled in a lawsuit that will be filed within the next few weeks. The letter of intent has already went out, so we're handling that. Okay. So with that in mind, I just wanted to update you guys a little bit about Mr. Trump and then I'll leave the door open for what you guys have to say, because I think we're out of the Harvey zone. But if you guys have questions later on down the line, please feel free to ask me. End of the week is always going to be more of an open forum, and I'm happy to share it, because sometimes it's hard to come up with content as a content creator and as an influencer. So that is what it is. But I definitely want to share this screen because it seems like we're heading towards a third government shutdown in the Trump presidency. So not one, not two, but three. So let's look at that. I'm going to bring that up, and hopefully you guys can hear this. And let's listen to what's going on here.
Hard to believe it, but we are headed to the third government shutdown of Donald Trump's second term in office. These things used to be pretty rare. Now they are very common, and this one has to do with one agency in particular, the Department of Homeland Security, which encompasses a wide range of programs, everything from FEMA, like dealing with natural disasters, or TSA, like airline security. The Coast Guard falls under the Department of Homeland Security. But this fight has to deal with one issue in particular, immigration enforcement. Democrats are saying that they will not vote for a bill to fund the Department of Homeland Security unless serious changes are made to the way President Trump deploys ICE officers across the country. Among the demands they are making, forcing ICE officers to remove their masks, having them wear body cameras, changing how use of force policies are being employed. Also, judicial warrants, making those part of immigration enforcement actions. Republicans say some of these demands go too far. And the Speaker of the House told me that the White House has made some serious concessions.
So does the White House need to move closer to what the Democrats are proposing here?
I saw the last proposal sent over from the White House. It is eminently reasonable and gives on some very meaningful provisions that were part of the discussion. It seems to me, the appearance here, that some Democrats, House and Senate, want a government shutdown. They want to impose more pain on the American people. For what? I have no idea.
But Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said that the White House has not gone far enough and that Democrats are prepared to dig in.
First, I'm not going to negotiate in public and get into the details. But second, their proposal is not serious. Plain and simple. It's very far apart from what we need.
Now, the deadline to fund the Department of Homeland Security is actually 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Friday night. But here's the big problem. The Senate is already gone. Senators left town on Thursday afternoon. And the House is gone too. House members left on Thursday morning. And on top of that, both chambers are on recess next week for President's Day. And all that means that even if a deal is miraculously reached, a government shutdown could drag on for some time. Past next week, maybe even longer.
We're asking today for the exact same thing that we had 2 weeks ago. Extend this funding for 2 more weeks.
We want to fund the Department of Homeland Security, but only a department that is obeying the law. And for that reason, I would object.
So what's happening here, just so you guys know, is as of tomorrow midnight, February 14th midnight, if Congress does not meet by the deadline, or if they do meet but they fail to come to an agreement by the deadline, I should say, then there will be a third government shutdown. And that's because of the deadlock between the White House and congressional Democrats over immigration reform. And what's going to happen is that DHS is going to be affected, TSA, the Coast Guard, and FEMA. So if you're planning on doing any traveling, just understand that there might be some issues and multiple delays because of TSA issues affected agencies. And that's going to happen as long as the government is shut down. The last shutdown was 43 days. So that was from October to November of 2025 last year. Mr. Trump, I'm going to bring it back up. Mr. Trump is definitely in a war with America, and a lot of his policies have been ineffective. He's chased a lot of the wrong things. And, the strategy is, I don't know what the strategy is, but, we've seen tariffs. We've seen, the European leaders and the European nations counteracting his tariffs. We've seen Russia and China and it take over a lot of the world and become stronger, with the help, either directly or indirectly, of Mr. Trump. A lot of people believe it's been directly. I'm one who believes that it's been direct help, but again, that goes without saying. And with the coming midterms, the question of the hour is, do we trust Donald Trump to run the elections? So I'm gonna say this. It's getting to the point to where we are hoping that this president will be impeached, but at the same time, he's been a political disaster, including the policies on ICE, including the tariffs, including the assault on free speech in the media. It's been one going event after the other. And I just want you guys to take note and be well informed. And, with that in mind, we're not going to allow Mr. Trump or anyone in his administration to abuse the public and go without being challenged. So I do want to say that, as a member of the press, as a member of the free press, I want you to understand that my policy has always been the independence of the press. So, and with that in mind, this is a challenge within the Trump administration. So we have got to be able to look at this thing for what it's worth. We got to be able to address it for what it's worth. And going forward within the next 6 months to a year, 6 months to 12 months, I'm going to start sharing initiatives that across the country of folks who are really on the ground, who are really doing things. Interviews that I have coming up are really going to be massive. I do want to, speaking of free press, I did want to share a little bit about the Don Lemon arrest. Who all was aware of Don Lemon's arrest in Minnesota. So I do want to share that. And let's go ahead and use that as a hot take. 1 second. And I'm going to pull that up. Bring that to the stage. Let's look at this.
It normally wouldn't be authorized unless it was, a very serious type of investigation. So this is not normal, but that is what.
So what's happening here today is Don Lemon is pleading not guilty to federal charges. He was in court today. So I'm sharing a little bit about that. Let's share a little.
Will claim in their search warrant affidavit, or did claim likely that they were going to get. They're trying to see whether he had conversations, that go to him being in cahoots with the people that were there, as opposed to a third party.
And let me go back to the actual press conference from when he was
on
released.
Such and such date. Here are the deadlines. But a couple of things. One, Abby Lowell's. The Fed seized his cell phone. They took Don's cell phone and said they now have a search warrant for that phone. Your thoughts about that? Because I thought that was very interesting.
I mean, listen, this is so off the rails, just, from the get-go, that it's hard for me to apply like standard FBI practice to this. Because, the FBI is normally, when it's operating in its normal capacity, is governed by something called the Attorney General Guidelines. And those have really strict rules about the kinds of investigations that you can pursue, what you need to even, start them, and who you can go against. One of the huge protections that those guidelines have is for journalists, because those guidelines came out of, the church hearings in the 1970s. It's all about making sure that there's a buffer for civil liberties. So the fact that they have even, opened an investigation, bringing charges against a journalist, and getting a search warrant. I mean, I guess what they would be arguing is that there's evidence of this conspiracy, right? So they are saying that this is a conspiracy. I mean, again, this would be considered a highly intrusive technique. It normally wouldn't be authorized unless it was, a very serious type of investigation. So this is not normal, but.
So I'm going to stop this right there, and let me stop sharing. Down limit, I think it's. Let me come back to the stage. Down limit is going to be okay. Eventually, I don't think that this is actually a snow job or a direct assault on the press, freedom of the press, and I think that everyone's aware of that. So down limits is going to be okay, but we will continue to address that in the days ahead. I do want to end my show here on a high note. And real quick, I want to talk about what the future of Amir Shakur Speaks is going to look like. So, just want to give you guys a little bit about me so you guys can look it up if you haven't. Just so you know, so me, I'm a former radio host. I actually came from doing not just was a journalist for Daily Cause, CNN, iReports, and the Huffington Post. You'll find that, I believe it's still up. Let me see if I can find it for you guys, but maybe I shouldn't, because every time I try to bring that, it runs scripts, which mess up my page. So I don't think I will, but I will share it. But a little bit about me. If you guys know that my channel, and I like to thank the folks in the Canada and the UK and my growing international base. You guys know that I've been an influencer, a strategist. I've done entrepreneurial work. I've worked with presidential campaigns. I started off in music production and creative. I worked with Virgin Records in the assets division. So, I've done a lot of things. But some of the things that I do well, public speaking, and I'm a global influencer. And I share motivational content, social commentary around the world. And my media presence is growing. And I'd say over the last 90 months, our analytics show we have over 200,000 views to my channel. And I want to thank the community for responding well to me. I want to talk about the days ahead. We will be doing double shows in the days ahead, like the Urban Report, the Urban Watch Report, which is the Urban Watch Report is going to be the morning show, and it's basically the segment. But I want you guys to also be aware that we are looking to address issues around the country. So if you have anything that you want me to look at, any story. I also am the editor of a newly formed newspaper, which we have been working on for the past several years, but it's the Chicago Urban Daily. So you can look it up. It's there, Chicago Urban Daily News. And, we will go ahead and be part of the new Chicago boom. We also have Black America World News. So I just want you guys to, be a part of everything that I'm doing in the days ahead. I want you guys to feel free to reach out to me if you have stories, if you have anything you want me to address, if you have any, I also do public speaking, so you can reach me at Amir Shakur Speaks. We are here for you. We're here for the public. And, even with me, if you're looking for specific items or anything, you can always Google me. I'm Googleable. You can go to LinkedIn. You can go to Instagram. You can go to Twitter, my X account. You can go to TikTok, right? So, I'm available on the World Wide Web. But listen, let's continue growing into the next this year into the next year. And let's continue fighting those bad guys, because I'm definitely down to fight those bad guys. And I just want to leave you with that model and with that quote again, the quote that I showed you and I talked to you about. Remember this, y'all. A dream written down becomes, excuse me, I'm messing it up. Let me get this right. Hold on. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal written down with steps becomes a plan. A plan backed by action makes your dreams a reality. That's dope, y'all. Remember that. And that's me, Amir Shakur Speaks. If you guys have anything, I appreciate you guys being a part of this. Please like and share the live. Hey, you know what? You'll see me again next Sunday night. And I'll put out the information. It's going to be a special announcement that particularly. But I appreciate you guys joining. And remember, whatever you do, just keep hope alive and keep striving for the higher goal. We're gonna work it out as a people. All right. Appreciate y'all, and peace.